The formative evaluation and the immunization window that I was involved with as externally, so with that caveat, and it's been quite interesting to watch it develop over time. It was 12 months, so it was actually considerably longer in the world of formative evaluations than the other two. And it was an intervention that was actually a new invention by one of the study team members, which was called a VIR band. And it was a band that goes on a baby's ankle, essentially to give parents reminders with a dye on the 3 critical immunization shots that they need over an 18-week period in the early stages. And so the DPT, basically. So it was interesting. What they needed to test was first, and I really applaud their design, because they needed to test the feasibility of this band itself and see if it would even work. So essentially efficacy, but at the same time also understand the community engagement, parental acceptance of it. And they were very ambitious, because knowing that it would have to work at scale, and because it's immunization with the government, they needed to test that engagement. And actually, will this delivery work with the government? And they included aspects of what would typically be seen as a process evaluation within the formative stage, which I thought was excellent, where they looked at cost, the actual implementation, and the mechanisms, as we would think of process evaluations in terms of the intervention and the human resources involved. What they found very briefly was, though the band itself was accepted by parents, and there was high compliance, around 86%, I believe, in terms of compliance of people keeping the band on and retention. There were issues with the band itself in the early stages, and that was really important to have tested to understand where they needed to actually kind of revise the design. And also they found, and I think the most critical finding, was that their human resources that they assumed would work with the government health worker was not the right human resource. They were overworked, there were too many priorities. Naturally, most community health worker programs, including the ASHA here in India, and this was in Pakistan's lady health workers, they have a lot of other tasks. So they realized that this wasn't the best place to give their incentives. So they actually went back and recruited a different type of community health worker, which was again very important. And lastly, I think, I'm just checking, they learned also in terms of their data collection mechanisms, they needed to do the study in a place where there was already an active surveillance system from the government that actually functioned, because they had issues again with data collection.